What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this Thursday, February 23rd of 2023? Yes, we are recording a day late again. No, this time it actually isn't our fault. So I'll go out there. Before I introduce my worst half, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5-star, Spotify, and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Go find us on the socials. Dave, you found your way here again.
Unfortunately for both you and me, I found my way here. I have XFL on the side, so I'm actually just not going to talk at all. I did find out that the defensive coordinator for the Sea Dragons is named Ron Zook, Z-O-O-K, which is a fantastic name.
It would have been so much better if it was Z-U-C-C, like zucchini. Like, it would have been short for zucchini, and it would have been
more
like
Zuck.
It would have been Zuck, yeah, but it depends. It's all how you pronounce it, right? That's kind of like we would call it Zuck, and it would be like Patrick Surtain did back in the day when he was like, no, it's Patrick Surtain. Then it's Patrick Surtain, and then he would get mad at people for pronouncing. I don't know, but I digress there. But yes, you're back. You're here. We're recording a day late because we have a person who might as well have frequent flyer miles on this show at this point. But before we get into him. Last week's show, Dave, we had an awesome show. We had arguably probably one of our biggest guests of all time. Michelle Tafoya came on the show. It was lots of fun. If you don't know who Michelle Tafoya is, and you've probably never watched a football game in your existence, legendary reporter, Emmy award-winning reporter, and now she hosts Sideline Sanity podcast. Go give that a listen. She had Bo Snerdley on today. One of Rush Limbaugh's closest people of all time. So definitely go give her a listen. She's great. But this week, we have one of our good friends, someone who's been on our show many a times. And as we continue to not grow, he's only getting bigger and better. He is HACKnoCAP, recording artist, your girl's favorite rapper, and now a TikTok influencer, it seems. What's up, bro?
What's up? Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. First off, it's your parents' favorite rapper.
No. I specifically remember you saying in one of your songs, I'm your girl's favorite rapper. So I was taking that from one of your songs, being a big
okay. Fan. I don't even remember half my lyrics.
People, we wonder why he doesn't go do shows now. No. He'd go up there and be like, he'd be one of those artists that just holds the mic out half the time because he can't remember his lyrics, and he's hoping that the fans do. He'd be like a Creed show. He'd be up there drunk, not being able to sing, getting sued by the fans.
I'm too busy making new stuff that I only remember my most recent lyrics.
I'm too busy growing. I don't pay attention to the task.
If that's what we call it, yeah.
Always growth, never look behind. Yeah, I remember that conversation. I was saying that it was a while ago. I was telling Hack that he should make a re-release of some of his old SoundCloud songs. He's like, I don't even know if I have them anymore, and I don't remember any lyrics, so it wouldn't go well.
Yeah, and they're actually all. If I grab this on this old computer that I struggled to get into to work on an older song not too long ago. So,
do you forget everything there too?
I don't know I shouldn't say this online, but my password is pretty easy to remember for me.
It is HACK123.
Yeah, let's go with that. I'm pretty sure Sully and Rob could recite my password.
David, I just saw your reaction. I think you're in front of me with oh God. Would have been a great
something almost happened.
Something happened. So you're going to get distracted from XFL on this podcast the whole time. We're going to lose all of our listeners anyway. So we have you on. You're making some new music. It is single season, but you're doing something different. You've released 2 singles over the last month now, right? What is it about the music that you're releasing? And you said I think you got one more song. You're releasing 3 songs. What's special about these songs?
So, it's just overall better quality. I've had more time to perfect my craft over the however many months I've spent writing these songs. And just to correct it, I was gonna release 3 back to back to back. It was supposed to come out Friday, but so I have 2 projects in the works. And one is more of a alternative punk pop album, and the second one is gonna be more completely rap. So I've been stacking up the rap songs, and I just want this next project, which is the punk alternative, to be complete and feel full. So I'm actually holding off on one of the releases, and I'm just going to release it with the project itself.
Is it something we can expect to be similar to your last release with Like Me? Because Like Me was very much more in the rock vein, and I really enjoyed it. That brought me back. I know my generation, like that brought us back to high school. A lot of your songs, like this is back when I was like in freaking 2004 to 7. I was in high school, and that was very similar to that sound. And I know I enjoyed a ton of it. What type of sound are we going to get? A little more like what should we expect here?
You're getting a more perfected version of Like Me, pretty much.
I like that.
A lot of Like Me was me experimenting with the 2000s punk alternative. Where are you? But I think I've gotten to the point where the vocals are going to be much more crisper. There's going to be a lot better leveling and everything. I've really perfected it, I think, over the past couple of months, and I'm much more excited for this release than I was for Like Me.
So Hack, I'll say this: if this doesn't work out, the going solo, doing your own stuff doesn't work out, you can certainly go be the lead singer of a Blink cover band, because you sound so much like Blink-182. It's actually pretty ridiculous how close you are to Blink. Like, I really feel like you can do it. We're at that time. Blink is, they just released some new stuff, but Blink is, my generation's classic rock at this point. They're one of those groups. And I think it's about time we're starting to get Blink cover bands. I think, HACK182 should be like the cover band name. Like, I think that would work.
I mean, I'm very much influenced by Blink-182. Sorry, I hear the dog in the background. I'm very much influenced by Blink-182, but if I were to do a cover band, believe it or not, it'd probably be Panic at the Disco. I could do a mean Brendan Urie.
Let me hear it. What do we got? Give me something.
I'm not doing it now.
Yeah,
come on, give the people what they want. Listen, this is the time. Let's do it.
It's because when I'm yelling into the mic, it'll just get distorted, and I can't
waking people up.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's the
excuse. Do you happen to have any of the names of the albums coming out? Maybe something prototype wise.
I do. So the first one is going to be the first half of 2023. It'll probably release end of March, maybe early May. It's going to be called Save My Soul. It has that whole and I like it because SOS is Save Our Soul, SMS is Save My Soul, which is also how a form of texting.
Yes,
so
yes.
Yeah, I have a couple cover arts in mind. Me and Robert are going to shoot them Saturday, hopefully, and we'll have them out. I got a nice Canon. We're going to take some quick flicks, and hopefully get an album cover.
And he told me they're going to be all nude for anyone out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Do a calendar photo shoot.
Might as well while we're out there.
Yeah.
Nice in the cold. And just, listen, ladies, it's the cold. It's not really him. It's just the cold weather.
Yeah. And the second project, slated probably towards more summertime, is going to be called Villain Arc.
Okay.
It's completely rap, and there's going to be really just, for once, I'm going to start bragging a little bit.
I like
Are we going to expect some anime ad libs again?
In all of my stuff, you better expect some anime ad libs. You could break my songs down to
what you're watching. What you're watching at the time. We know what you're watching by your music at the time.
That, and you could really just simplify it all to three different things. It's either me complaining, screaming, or talking about anime or video games.
So what anime are you watching right now? I'm putting you on the spot. What are you watching?
So believe it or not, I'm not caught up on My Hero. So I'm going through. I'm on the end of. I think I started season 6. It's getting wild. They kind of went for a lull.
Did you get to Dark Deku? Is Dark Deku in this season yet? Because that's what I want. You're until you get. Honestly, Dark Deku starts it really picks up again. And when you see that, it's my favorite part by far.
He's just starting to control Black Whip right now.
Did he met with all the other All for One users or One for?
He met with he had that vision with the user of Black Whip.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's going through the villain backstories and the creation of the merging of the Alliance and the League of Villains.
Just wait for Dark Deku. Get to Dark Deku and then come back to me, because that's my favorite thing. And I'm all caught up in like the manga. So I'm in like right now it's really good. Dark Deku is my favorite thing they've ever done. And it's not even close. It's so much fun. Anyway, out of our nerdy sphere, do you want me to play a little bit of your newest single?
Yeah, and just before you do that, with all of my newer releases, all the money I am making, so I get a percentage of my distributor, what they make from what they do. And all the money I get from that distributor and from the TikToks, if you guys, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Anything I absorb, 100% of it right now, I'm focusing towards the Wounded Warrior Project, which is a project that specializes in helping those who have served our country, whether it's medical expenses, certain kind of therapies, and even canine healing, and just really protecting those who have protected us. So it really does mean a lot to me. Any stream, any purchase of the song, 100% of the money is going to the Wounded Warrior Project.
Yeah. So without further ado, we're going to jump in. Actually, with further ado, real quick, this song that we're going to put on, it's your newest release. It's called The End. Give me a little insight into this before we play, because last time we had you on, I thought it was cool, kind of got into your head about. So talk about The End. You've said that this is your best song you've ever made. I think it's right up there. I have some other favorites that I like, but this song is fantastic. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so I drew a lot of inspiration from two of my favorite tragic characters, that being Obito Uchiha and Itachi Uchiha, and the path that each of them have walked. I've kind of merged their stories along with some of my own experiences. And I was actually, when I sat down to write this, I wanted to submit a song to the Cyberpunk 2077 DLC contest. So they had like a little contest where people, different artists, they can make their own stuff, submit it, and have a chance to be in the DLC, because they're adding a new radio. Cool. And unfortunately, it wasn't taken. And I was gonna wait and release this song with the project, because like I said, I wanted it to be a surprise, and I think it's my best work. So it is the last song on my newest project. But then I was just so infuriated, and like, that Tom Brady clip, it's not really a chip on my shoulder, it's just that feeling that maybe nobody wants you. I kind of got that feel when they didn't choose the song, so I was like, screw it, 4 weeks, we're releasing it.
I like it. All right. So everyone, this is The End, Hack No Cap. We're going to listen to like the first 30 seconds. All right, here we go. Sure.
Inside of me, I know how the story ends. I know how it ends. You don't gotta show me again. I walk through the valley of the shadow alone. Saw it in a message, it was written in stone. I know I got no home. I'm making it work though.
All right, so I was a little bit longer because I was enjoying it. That's The End by HACKnoCAP. Again, please go give it a listen. Anywhere you could find streaming music, it is there. And definitely go spread the word that HACKnoCAP is now your new favorite artist. So let's jump into some other stuff, because that was fun, but you're also having a little bit of fun now. You've had some success on the TikToks, on TikTok, doing some of the collaborations. And now, if people aren't familiar, some artists will put out a part of like a chorus or something, and then they'll give other artists a chance to record something and release it in a duet style. You had some success with this so far. Your biggest one was a lot of fun. Talk about what it's been like kind of getting noticed for having the skill that you have and getting a lot more recognition. And you're up into almost 25,000 followers on TikTok, which is not a small number. So talk about how fun, like, has it been fun? Has it been stressful? Kind of putting some more pressure on you to keep doing it and do good jobs? Like, what's it been like?
A little bit of all what you explained. It's been a blast. It's been really a blessing. I've talked and I've met so many new people, and it's really hopefully what is a start of establishing a foundation where, you know, we could make a difference in people's lives. And the pressure to keep making content, though, on the other hand, is not fun. It's like a day doesn't go by where I'm like, oh, I should make a TikTok. But then at the same time, if you make too many, some don't perform as well. So it's really about picking and choosing, and, oh, what time can I drop this TikTok and for it to get the most traction? And, you know, my most popular one, the Ava one, it was so much fun to write because there's really no driving, like, you don't really have to talk about your own experiences in like an open verse or like a feature or anything. So like I was just able to have a lot of fun with it, and, you know, hopefully make people laugh. And yeah.
You know, I'm just waiting for you to get big enough that I can come out with hit pieces and like embarrassing stories so that, you know, I can gain the clout off of that, just right off of you.
Yeah, we're gonna create a whole show just bashing you with all the stuff that we have. Like every week we're gonna let out a new hackism.
I'm prepped for cancel culture. I already know my responses.
You're definitely going to get canceled just from being on the show.
Yeah.
So have any of these artists that you've collabed with gotten in touch with you personally and like DM'd you or like given you like exchange a number or something? Like you in contact with any of them? Or is that incognito? Is that like inside baseball? We're not allowed to know?
Oh, I could just totally say you're not allowed to know, but no, none of them have contacted me. I was really hoping that one Natalie Jane or whatever, that she reached out for a potential remix feature, because, dude, people are still to this day like I for once in a while, like I had that one viral video a year or two ago with me singing Blink 182 in the car, but for once, I got to meet my notifications. It's ding, 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 ding. So many people liked your video. And I wasn't actually going to release the Ava one because I wasn't really a huge fan of it. But my friend Becca was like, no, you gotta release this.
It was good, dude. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I do have to say, I question Natalie Jane's taste because outside of yours, some of the other ones she put up, I'm like, they kind of suck. Like she put up some reactions to them and I'm just like, and I'm not just saying it because it's you, but it's like they put up some and I'm just like, I mean, better one to react to there, dear. So I do question her taste.
I mean, she reacted to mine, and that freaking just blew my TikTok up.
Which was cool, yeah.
And it was already, when she recorded, it was already going on 1 million and some views. Yeah. And then it's still, right now, I think we're at 3.1 million views right now. So many engagements, so many. And it's funny because now I go on YouTube whenever I'm bored and I type in open verse challenges, and what people will do on YouTube is they'll put compilations of different ones. And now I'm seeing some of mine on their YouTube, and it's just freaking cool. And then you see someone comment, yo, person at 1 minute and 8 seconds snapped, and I'm like, yeah, thanks, dude.
So wait, who was that one kid on one of your projects that was like HACKnoCAP? Can you like bring him back and be like, can you apologize now, motherfucker? Like,
no, not apologize. He needs to double down.
Well, he'll be like Ken Kniff from Connecticut with Eminem. Like, he'll just keep going.
You want to know how I got that sound bit?
It wasn't on like Xbox or something. Like, weren't you like playing?
So yeah, I just got my capture card, right? And I was like, I'm going to test this out. And I wanted to see how live commentary would work. And I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to just show people my music online so I could get a genuine, honest reaction for someone who's probably never going to have to hear from me again. And we were in a COD lobby. It was World at War. No, what? No. was Cold War, I think, the 2 Call of Duties ago, and we were playing Nuketown, and you could actually hear the sniper in the bit.
Yeah.
In the one song. So and he let loose, he let rip. That whole team really got into me. He was like, "This ain't it, dude. They should call you Hack No Rap."
Like, yeah, I remember that clip. So yeah, are you in touch with that individual anymore? Like, did they hit you up at all?
No, but I'm pretty sure I could find the gamer tag. I have the thing of them talking. So, but like that whole time, I was like, yes, all of this, because that's that Tom Brady shit. That's that, yeah. Tell me that.
You really should find that and just tag him in the fucking Ava and just be like, clout.
Imagine.
Clout. That's all you should be.
No, I should just say Hack No Rap.
Hack No Rap. That man. That's awesome. That is like my haters are my influence. As corny as that is, like you kind of had that experience right now.
I like the personality that you're diving into, where you're basically just becoming a masochist in order to get better.
No, yeah, I can't say that I don't like really drive from like the people who have told me I can't do something, but you know, my main driving force is people like you guys who have just been in my corner the entire time and told me that, you know, just keep going and it's going to take time. And it's the people that really brought me back and was just like, yo, just keep doing it. Just so that's who I really drive from.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of Virginia, so I don't help much.
And it's kind of funny because we're like on the flip side here. Because I remember like when you were like really doing your thing, like in the beginning, you were kind of like, yo, let me just jump on the show and like whatever. And like thinking that this was going to become something. Right. And now we're kind of still like small potatoes, and here you are, and we're about to ride your coattails. We're about to ride your 25K TikTok followers into getting like 6 more listeners at least, and that would be a good day.
I'm bringing all my friends with me, whatever happens. So, like I said, you guys have always been in my corner, and I'm always going to be in yours. So, I really do appreciate that. But I can't say that like the people who have told me that I can't do something, that it's motivating. It's not really a chip on my shoulder. It's just that feeling that maybe nobody wants you.
That's going to be our new role. We're just going to tell you suck. And we're just going to tell you you're terrible. Just quit.
David, that's always been David's role.
Yeah, that is true.
Take 2 weeks off, then quit. We're going to pull the Brett Favre on you. So, speaking of Brett Favre, his unwanted protege, Aaron Rodgers has come out of the darkness as of today. The 3 of us here are Jets fans. We are suffering individuals, and we're kind of stuck in limbo here. Looks like it's a choice between whether we sign the Jets sign Derek Carr, or they wait on Aaron Rodgers and kind of get the green light from Rodgers to go ahead and put a trade package together. And, you know, this is what I want. What do you think of this situation, Hack? How are you feeling? Because you are not just die hard, kill myself hard. If things don't go right for the Jets. So what do you got here?
You know, my number one choice is going to be Rodgers all the time. The push for Rodgers is real, but if we can't get him, I think Derek Carr is not just as good, but he could get us to a bowl. I think he could get us to a Super Bowl. Anybody else, just trade for Jameis. I don't want any other of the quarterbacks being mentioned. I
don't know. I think someone, you know, like maybe Ryan Tannehill could really do well for us, Joe.
I'm not saying a word because I actually, me and a couple of my Jets friends, we have a group chat, and you guys would be a part of it if you had iPhones and you weren't living in the prehistoric era.
We don't support the evil CCP and their fascist nation. My apologies.
We're
talking about TikTok.
We're talking about TikTok this whole time. You're just all about China. You're little LeBron James of rap.
Hey, we're all slaves to different companies now, man. It doesn't matter if you have a Pixel. It doesn't matter if you have an iPhone. You pick.
There's no confirmation of suicides via Pixel. People jumping off buildings.
I don't.
Foxconn.
I can't even say it's the lesser of two evils because they're both freaking evil, man. But anyway, we have a certain pact that if we sign Ryan Tannehill, we're yeah.
The most ridiculous thing to me about Tannehill The most ridiculous thing is, like, he is by far the worst option. Like, if you're going to go Tannehill,
Absolutely.
just re-sign Mike White. Like, why are you going to go Tannehill? Just tell Mike White it's your job, you know, and then if you suck, we'll go bring somebody else in. But it's like, I'd rather have Matt Ryan or Carson Wentz over freaking Tannehill. At least they both have played at an MVP level at some point. Like, Tannehill's never been good. I get it. I don't want any of them either. But if it's the choice, they're obviously better choices. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's bizarre to me because I really feel like this is setting up, like, as typical Jets fans as we are, this is setting up for a swing and a miss, right? This is kind of what we do with the Jets. We get this thing up, we're in the game, we're in this, and then we're going to have a freaking, a Tyreek Hill, like, oh, it was never really the Jets. So, like, that's what happens. This feels like we're getting to that moment. I do have one request for you, going back to your music a little bit. One of your songs, Stars Align, might be your biggest indictment. You mentioned Sam Darnold going deep. I think from now on, every time we get a new quarterback, you need to edit that line and just add that quarterback's name. And so, like, you could just, so you can, like, eventually we'll have a compilation of you with like 93 versions of the song in the next like 15 years for like every single quarterback that we get.
You want to know what's hilarious? The song you're referring to is Stars Align.
Yeah, I love that
and
song.
I say,
Sam Darnold has to pull up, go deep on it. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Sam Darnold had to pull up, go deep on him. I actually went back because I was bored one day, and I switched it to Zach Wilson had to pull up, go deep.
So honestly, release that version now, and then whenever we get a new quarterback, just re-record it. Like, just keep on. That could be like your Jets tribute in your music. Stars Align will forever be the Jets quarterback song. Rename it
Mike
Jets
White
new
had to
quarterback.
pull up, go deep on him.
Mike White.
Aaron Rodgers had to go pull up.
Last year, Josh Johnson had to pull up, go deep on it. Joe Flacco had to pull up, go deep on it. Like,
yeah, absolutely. We're going through every quarterback.
But yeah, overall, Dave, if you had the option, and I've seen both sides of the coin. I've seen people are like, if Aaron Rodgers wants to trade, you trade for him. Obviously, boom. But I've seen other people, it's like, I've seen a lot of talking heads like, no, you go with Derek Carr and you have a 6-year window at a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, you have a 2-year window, plus you're trading assets. Where do you fall in this? Because I think both of them, obviously Aaron Rodgers is a Super Bowl champion quarterback, arguably the best quarterback of this generation. You can definitely put him up there, outside of Tom Terrific, obviously. But what do you think with Derek Carr versus Rodgers? And don't say you're just happy with either or. Don't take that answer. I'll fight you.
I'm not. I wasn't. I'd rather pick Rodgers. For me, it's you want to keep it as simple as possible, and you just go, okay, who has the most skill? Who has the most skill here? It's Aaron Rodgers. And it's not really particularly close in that sense.
No, not at all.
So, especially with the team that we have, with the opening that we have, you really have to go for the Super Bowl here, even if it is just a 2-year window. Aaron Rodgers, with his skill level, you give him this offense. I mean, you help him out with the line a little bit, but still, you give him this offense. You have a damn good chance to making the Super Bowl. Derek Carr, he could do it. But he's more of you're having a damn good chance of making the playoffs and not a damn good chance of making a Super Bowl.
I saw a comparison that he would be the Jets' Kirk Cousins. Derek Carr will be Kirk Cousins. You'll have good stats. You'll win games. You'll get to the playoffs. You'll never make it past that point.
A wise man once said, "Fuck them picks." And that man's a Super Bowl champion.
Yes, actually.
So, me and my dad, we talk about this all the time, right? Okay, we're giving up 2 first-round picks. But what's the difference if we give up 2 first-round picks if we're picking 30, 32?
Yeah.
It's true. That is true. And, or even, okay, say we don't get there, right? But we're still going to be in the thicket with Aaron Rodgers. And the thing about Aaron Rodgers, too, that I think people are glossing over that he does better than Derek Carr, he's going to make up for any line deficiencies that can and will happen in the Jets, because we're the Jets, right? We're going to sit there and have a great offensive line until week 3 when they're all dead, because that's just how it works. Like, they all just seem to take turns getting hurt. So, but he has not a good line outside of one guy. Like, every once in a while, or 2 guys on Green Bay. They haven't been great as of late. And, so it's like he can make up for those deficiencies that I don't know if Derek Carr can. And I like Derek Carr. I've been a Derek Carr fan. I've defended the guy. I thought that he got a raw deal in Vegas. Gruden was getting him going. I thought he was looking great under Gruden. And then Gruden got pushed out of the league. But it's like, I'd be happy with both. Anyone that says they don't want Derek Carr isn't a real Jets fan because we fucking suffered for how long. You would get a real quarterback. You're a moron if you don't want Derek Carr. I get it if you don't want him over Rodgers, but yeah. And I don't know about you guys. I don't want Lamar Jackson. I think people might say I'm crazy.
Oh, I want him.
Lamar, when a running quarterback gets hurt for the first time, they get hurt the rest of their career. And they're not the same. And he hurt his legs. Mike Vick gets hurt. He's not Mike Vick. Cam Newton, legs are out from under him. He's not Cam Newton. Lamar might have another few good years. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be an MVP again. I don't think the Ravens are going to sniff a championship again if he stays with them because his strength isn't throwing. He's a good passer, a much better passer than he has been. But he's a great passer because you got to be careful of him running. If his threat of running is much further down, he's not beating you. Not the way he used to.
Yeah, but back to the Rodgers thing, I just want to there were actually talks, it was a couple weeks ago, which is like years right now in the NFL offseason.
Yeah.
That in a trade deal with Rodgers would be upwards to 3 first-round picks, but we'd also get thrown in Bakhtiari, who has been his guy on the line, who has stayed consistent, and he is a good player. And he would make our line, let's say, God willing, Mekhi Becton stays healthy, AVT stays healthy, and then you add Bakhtiari, and you've got a top 3.
Well, yeah, you keep Herbig. Herbig's more than serviceable, and you keep McGovern at center because McGovern's fine at center when he doesn't have weaknesses all around him. Laken Tomlinson was terrible this year.
Well, he was terrible this year, so let's hope he gets back into a form where he was, last year.
He needs to earn it. And Laken Tomlinson needs to earn it, and if he's coming back, I don't know if he's coming back, but yeah, no, I don't know if I believe that rumor.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's all smoke and mirrors, man. Nobody knows what's happening. Everyone's just kind of running around like SpongeBob when he forgot his name right now.
Yeah, everyone's like really into darkness right now. But
can we just Dave? You're done. Say goodbye to the people. You're getting kicked out of the show right now. That's it. Dave's gone. But it's like it's weird because we're in a good position now, right? As Jets fans, like it looks like we're either going to get Rodgers or Carr, but this is very Jets. This is very Jets.
Whenever we're 7-4, we just got to know we're going to only win one more game.
Or when we're 9-3 and beat the best team in the NFL, we have a guy that cares more about a fucking streak than winning a championship. The last Green Bay quarterback that came to New York, Brett Favre, freaking. So again, wary of Rodgers. We don't have a good track record with Green Bay quarterbacks. And so, to
be fair, it was one time, and we were 9-3.
And I'm a Jets fan. It's one time too many. Okay.
And we didn't have the man, the myth, the legend, JD at the helm. So I trust JD with my life.
Yeah, I mean, Tannenbaum was good at the time. Anyway, so that's what we have to say about the Jets. People are tired of hearing about the Jets, but we're also freaking tired. I don't know. I've been tired of this for a long time, this franchise. Madden NFL football is probably, them and 2K are the freaking worst franchises right now. In video games, they suck. They don't improve. That you pay for new rosters every single year. They came out saying that the producers at EA said that this year is a make or break for the Madden franchise. If they don't come out and prove and produce a game worthy of the name, where people remember Madden was the gold standard, right? It was fun. It was great. Had John Madden's name on it, and every year you just enjoyed. Sometimes they swung and missed with new things, but they were always trying to give you something new and cool. And they had great features outside of franchise mode. They had the kind of scenarios that you could do. One of the favorites was they did it a few years in a row with Deshaun Jackson. We had to try and return a punt, and it was like, don't kick to him. That was one. They're like, you kick to him. Like it was fantastic. Like they did some fun stuff. All that's been stripped. All they give a shit about now is Ultimate Team. Franchise is kind of like milquetoast, and there's just nothing great or anything fun about Madden besides getting new names on jerseys and maybe a touch better graphics, but sometimes they take a step back there too. Hack, do you have any faith that Madden is going to improve in any way, shape, or form?
I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? It's completely broken. They have they have a lot of money. They have a lot of assets. I think they're bringing in good people, but I think what was it? Madden 15 or 16 is when they totally rebuilt the engine and started from scratch. I think that was
16 or was it 25?
I don't know which
I
one.
think it was 25. I think 25 is when they kind of did the whole entire like brand new like everything style.
I remember they had no soundtrack either on 25. It was just Sam Spence instrumentals the whole time.
That was like 2 years in a row, 2 or 3 years in a row,
which was ridiculous.
That was the downfall of the franchise right there. I mean, can you build it back up? Anyone with that kind of money and those assets could bring it back up. Will they? I mean, it's hard to ask people to crunch that much because you got to think throughout half the year they're servicing, quote unquote, servicing the current game while trying to develop the next one. So I do think this is a make or break year with franchises like Maximum Football coming out and even going to 2K and the NBA 2K this year. It was the worst 2K I've purchased. I'm happy that I split it with Colton because it is literally robotic sticking. And
also shout out to Colton Gesser on WFAN. Please go look for him. He's doing some cool shit. You can hear his voice on the radio if you're a sports fan. Colton Gesser is a badass friend of the show. Go for it. Sorry, Hack.
Yeah, absolutely. We love Colton. Games or features like My Player and stuff have really taken over the VC, the purchasing to get money. You know, these companies, they're getting so much money from VC and things that you purchase and Ultimate Team that, you know what? Why even make a game when you could just spend it on My Player and, you know, the yard, the park. These are just so stupid names. I yearn for the day where I get a Madden moment. You know, I can't tell you how many hours I've spent trying to create the Colts comeback against the Saints as the final Madden moment challenge.
Hard.
It was so hard. But when you did it, you were like, oh my God, that could have happened.
Yep.
So for you guys, would you guys sign up for a Madden where they said, okay, you're not going to get a Madden every single year. We're going to take a full year in between years to develop. Here's pay for the game, $60, $70, whatever it is. In order to get updated rosters, we will update the rosters. We'll update rankings. We'll still do that type of stuff. But it'll be the same game for 2 years in a row. You just got to pay us $20 more to update rosters and update ratings like for that new year. Would you sign up for that?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at a lot of these yearly franchises, they're all collapsing right now. You know, Call of Duty, big decline. Up until the newest release, Modern Warfare is a banger. It's very good. Warzone 2 is very good. But you look at the teams making them, they're taking off and on years. So it's like Treyarch 1 year, and then it's Infinity Ward the next year. So you're seeing improvements in the games, even though they may be yearly releases. And even Call of Duty is going to take a year this year. Because you want to know what? They were like, you know what? We're putting all we can into Modern Warfare, and we're going to service it for 2 or 3 years. We're going to service Warzone 2 for 2 or 3 years. And you're seeing people react to that, and they're like, oh my God, this is actually a better game. Oh my God, and then you compare it to Battlefield, which is just pumping out games, I'd say yearly. And 2042 was the worst one yet.
Yeah.
Which sucks because Battlefield's been arguably better than Call of Duty basically the whole time. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people, Call of Duty's been more popular, but Battlefield has had better graphics. The guns have been more realistic. It's like it's been better. And my issue with a lot of these games, including those franchises, is none of them have actually given you something new. None of them have actually given you something like Warzone was fun because it was a different style for Call of Duty. But what is different about the gameplay? And I guess that's a little good for streamers and things like that because they jump in, it's familiar, and they could just go right to it. But it was fun when games had a similar feel, but they were different, right? Like we would play you know, maybe I'm aging myself, but I used to play the Sonic the Hedgehogs. They were the same game styles, but there was always something new that made it feel different. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. They were the similar style games. Like you basically did the same things, but maybe there was a little something added, and then it felt fresh every time. You don't feel freshness in any of these games anymore.
Well, I think a lot of that comes with being able to live service the game. You know,
that's true.
You look at games like Halo, which are I think were better each game up until Halo 5, which was a disaster. But Halo Infinite is the best multiplayer Halo game I've ever played. It's just they didn't live service it correctly, and now you're seeing that as a result.
They also had a great TV show.
Stop.
Yeah.
Dave,
But
your point.
to go back real quick, because I do want to answer. And if it was in a vacuum, I would say yes to that deal of like, let me pay for the Madden and then, you update and you take a year. But I can't trust them to do that. I can't trust them to do that with what they put a product that they've been putting out. I can't. I haven't bought Madden in a while because why would I? I have no reason
I haven't either.
to. I have All Pro Football 2K8 on my computer. I'd rather just play that. And
Dave,
the thing is,
go ahead.
Part of the point I feel like you're making, Alex, is that, and I've traversed back to older games. I still have my 360, and I still can play older games, and even on my computer.
Yeah.
And while the live updates are good, and Joe, you're more of a multiplayer guy than I am. I'm more of a single player guy. I play a lot of story driven stuff. Back then, when games were made, and maybe it's because they couldn't do live updates or whatever, and they really didn't have any DLC, but games were full. Games were full back then. They gave you so much content in a game that you could just go around and do. Even in the crashes, even in the Spyros, where, you had some linear things, but you had so much stuff you could do. The worlds are fleshed out. And I don't know. While like the live updates and can be really good and they can really help make a game better, I feel like that kind of takes away from sometimes with these releases that happen where the game either isn't complete or it isn't full. And that's part of the issue with Madden, with a lot of these sports simulation games, is Madden used to have a good franchise mode. It used to have a pretty in-depth franchise mode.
Really hard, too. Like, you had to balance the salary cap.
When the
really
war,
well.
and when they were kind of warring with 2K in a little bit over who's making the better NFL game.
Yeah.
And 2K had the presentation. They had really good stuff. But Madden had some other things that went for them, like some of the gameplay, like some of the franchise mode and other things that they did. But now, because everything is so online, like you said, the 2K is making money off the VC. Madden's making money off their Ultimate Team. Basically, everyone's making money off their Ultimate Teams.
Yeah.
So they don't care necessarily about making the game complete, making it full, giving you all of these things that could do with football or basketball or whatever sport or just whatever game that you're playing. They don't give you everything that they could give you because they can give you more during the time that you're playing it, which I think, it annoys me with some things, but I think it annoys a lot of people.
And, and I'll say this, another thing about the old school games aren't hard anymore. Games are will tell you where to go if you're lost. And that's it used to, every once in a while you get an idea, but now it's like, follow the line, follow the dot. You can never get lost. And, God of War is starting to do that. And fucking God of War was the fun part was the gameplay and the puzzles were really hard. And you would get so mad, you would save the game, turn it the fuck off, think about it, come back and beat it. Like that was the fuck. And games used to be really difficult, and games aren't hard anymore. Like Call of Duty, if you get a fun story mode, is great, right? If you get one at all, if you get a fun battle, like if you get one, they don't do them as often, right? But it's like, it's not hard. The Call of Duty stories are never that hard. You don't feel like the sense of that, I can't beat this off. I need to grind it out and figure it out. Like Final Fantasies were amazing because they were hard. You had to grind. You could be doing great. Your team's awesome. And then you meet this boss and it's like, man, I had to go do something. And like, there was something fun about the grind and like the urgency of, I want to see how this game ends. I want the story to progress and I need to get this done. It's just, they're not hard anymore. And I find that, Dave, you know this. I bought every PlayStation. I've had every PlayStation from PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4. I haven't even considered trying to find the 5. And the reason is, I've complained before to you, I don't like the way of broken games. And maybe it's because of the live updating and stuff that they feel like it's okay to sell broken games. And that, we're gone with the loot crates, fine. But DLC is still a thing. And it's still robbing people of money, giving you have to like, pay for this level to open up. And it's like, it's Dave, like Dave said, more full games back in the day, but it's an excuse now where you're paying $60 and give us another 40 to get the rest of our game. It's like, that's ridiculous. To me, that's terrible what they're doing to the gamer.
I do want to say this real quick, Joe, before you make your point. We are mainly discussing AAA games, not indie games. I will say indie games are very, very different. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, going back to what Alex said, I don't think a game necessarily has to be hard for it to be great. I mean,
agreed.
I mean, you go back not too long ago, Red Dead 2 basically plays itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on an the combat system is on an old engine that aims for you.
There has to be a good story involved if that's the case.
Yeah,
and the Red Deads have a great story, so there's a trade-off, right?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, just be fun again. Yes. I mean, you look at Cyberpunk, and that was absolutely horrendous and unfinished on release, and that's part of the community's fault for giving them such backlash for keep pushing it off and stuff. But you look at what the game has turned into, especially gaining more traction from the banger anime it dropped.
Yep.
But it is a fun game, and I go back and I play it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm happy I started another playthrough, and you know what? Screw CD Projekt Red for not picking my song, but I'm gonna play the hell out of the DLC. Actually, no, chip on the shoulder. I'm not playing the DLC. Screw that.
And me and David had a show where we talked about the new Grand Theft Auto coming out, and it was like, we'll see what it's going to become. They're taking away things. They're making a female protagonist that basically acts like a dude because feminism's about being a guy now, and it's like. I don't know how much it's necessarily going woke in the industry. It is woke in that industry. All that shit is, but it's like
I will clarify this. I will clarify this. The biggest issue with the Grand Theft Auto, the new Grand Theft Auto is supposedly coming out in the leaks and stuff like that, was not even that. It was that they were taking away radio stations. They were taking away the parts of the city that was supposed to be
offensive shit
of the city
that were funny,
it was supposed to be
over the
absolutely
top,
degenerate all the time and over the top.
Yeah, and that's the thing that GTA did. They would do offensive shit, but it was so over the top that it was like, this isn't real. Like, this is funny. And people used to laugh about it, but it's like, I don't know. There needs to be a revamp, and there needs to be, and maybe it is because it's so hard to make these games now with the next gen and how good the graphics are, and there's so much more work that goes into these games than it did making a 32-bit or a 64-bit game. It's obviously a much more advanced thing, and so maybe we need to cut them some slack and let them take time to make these games. But I don't know. But I have hopes that Madden can come back, because we talked about before the show, NCAA is coming back, and there's got to be some pressure on EA, because it's always been Madden's a flagship. NCAA kind of takes Madden's old graphics, Madden's old ideas, and just throws in a triple option, which is the best part about NCAA. And if anybody argues with me that best part about NCAA isn't a competent triple option, I'm going to fight you, which I never got. Guys, why can't we do a real triple option in Madden? Every time you ever tried to do it, I've thrown a fumble. Every fucking time, my whole life, doesn't matter which one. Every time I try to run a triple option, the quarterback just decides to do an all-out pass out the back of my end zone. Why can't they get that right in Madden, but it's beautiful in NCAA every time?
I've been waiting, I think, probably 12 years now for proper QB mobility inside and outside the pocket. I want to do a spin move and make a aggressive defensive end look stupid. But as far
Michael
as
Vick was the only one. He was the only one that they gave legitimate moves to when Vick in his heyday.
Well, what was a cool feature that they took out was you were able to click in, I think it was the left or right stick, and then you turned into a runner behind the line of scrimmage.
It was L2. You held L2.
Yeah. You could do those moves, and then you could go back into your passing stuff. But they took that out because why not? Because it was fun. Because why have fun in a football video game? But as far as going back to GTA, you got to remember these are only leaks, and people who are leaking this information have exterior motives to leak this wokeness thing, and watch out this and that. There are plenty of games
suck, so they can fix it. It gives it time to get criticism, so they can fix it, so it won't suck. Thank you for leaking this, people.
But you don't know if the leaks are true. And number two, there are plenty of games with great female protagonists. Some
absolutely.
that pop into my head.
That is amazing.
Yeah, you got your Bayonetta, your Mirror's Edge, Portal. Portal's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's
just
female.
Samus.
So there's nothing.
Metroid. Just Metroid.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Metroid is probably the best female protagonist of all time, and you didn't know until the end. and it blew a bunch of nerdy gamers' minds. But yeah, I guess we have high hopes. Joe, you're really the one that kind of still does more of the current gaming. Dave does a lot of indie current games, but in terms of AAA games, out of us three, I think you're really the one that ingests more of them. So,
one I have to recommend is I'm a big single player experience guy. So like when I play Madden, I don't play for the multiplayer. I try to keep everything as realistic as possible, adjust the sliders to make things realistic, and go on like different paths on my own. And I have to recommend Hogwarts Legacy. Is it
that good? I've been hearing good things.
Is it the best game?
No, probably not.
It seems somewhat outdated when it comes to enemy AI and stuff. And but the more I play, if you're a fan of the Harry Potter franchise and you've seen the movies, seeing the stuff and being able to interact with it is very cool. I will say I was very skeptical of the AI at first, but it has proved to be somewhat advanced, more advanced than people are making it out to be. I think it is a very good game. And even if you aren't a fan of the world, it is a very cool thing to learn about. And it actually rehashed some of my fandom that I had from my sister as a little kid. So, just going back, because when I watched the movies, I was a little kid. I was forced to watch them. I didn't really understand the story and stuff like that. And just going back and learning about the characters. Yeah.
One of the best ever. But so one of our former guests, actually, it's funny enough, you mentioned Hogwarts Legacy. George Alexopoulos put on Twitter that he had a complaint. He was playing it, and he wanted to walk away from one of the characters that I guess he had to keep near his side, and it didn't let him. He was so pissed off. So I got to give George a shout out. While I'm talking about him, go buy his kids book, Gooseberry Pie. I bought it. I read it to my daughters. They freaking loved it. It's about an adorable little mouse. So go get that. But yeah, I just found it funny you mentioned Hogwarts Legacy, because he was pretty heated about the fact he's like, it's an open world. I'm a wizard. I want to go walk places. I don't want, this is supposed to be open world. Why are you making me be linear? And he was just battling with people online because they're just like, it's a part of the game. He's like, shut up. I'm a wizard. This is unrealistic. Let me go places.
There are some dated aspects to it where you can't, as far as I haven't gotten too far in the game because, there's so much stuff to do. And it's, like I said, this is a complete game. You're getting a complete game. Yeah. Are there flaws? Yeah. Does it feel a little dated at times? Yeah. I could see that it took them 10 years to make this. But you can't you can't go around with your wand and rob random people.
I found his tweet. He failed because he abandoned Nazi. I don't know who the hell Nazi is, but he was pissed. I'm just trying to explore your world. I'm not exploring it the way you want me to.
I think that's one of the Ugandan students that's
you can explore after the quest
from another wizard. I can't really remember, but
I am happy to hear good things though about it, because I've heard multiple things good and bad and such, and I haven't gotten it. I have been thinking about it because I like Harry Potter. I like the whole universe around it. I like the setting, so I definitely will get it at one point. But another game that came out around the same time that I haven't gotten yet that I need to get was the Dead Space remake. And you want to talk about full games? The Dead Space is a full game. It is a genuine, fantastic, a masterpiece of a horror experience that was made. And we've made these comparisons already, but look at the other horror experience that was supposed to be like the new Dead Space that came out recently. I didn't play it. The Callisto Protocol. Now, I didn't play it, but you see the reactions that came out about that game. It was almost unanimously panned as just, and maybe it's because it was billed as the new Dead Space, but it wasn't as good as it. Now, I've heard that it's really not that bad of a game. It's actually a decent game, but it's just not Dead Space. And the Dead Space remake comes out not too long after it. From what I've seen, they've done a fantastic job on it. It looks gorgeous. And I mean, Isaac is amazing, and the whole prospect of Dead Space is so much fun. If you never played it, I do recommend it. I know you have, Joe.
Yeah, I actually have the remake
Good.
I got it. And, not for nothing, this is a franchise that, we grew up together.
Yes.
I was afraid to play it by myself, so I always made you
Yes.
watch me play it. And just going back and seeing some of these parts that absolutely terrified me as a kid, and they're still terrifying to this day. And
Yes.
it's just if I were to give you a guide on how to make a remake, that's how you do it. You don't just throw a skin over it and do some of the textures. They remade that entire game.
Yes.
And they added some things, and they didn't take away anything.
Yep.
And similar to Harry Potter, just as an older person experiencing the story again for what feels like the first time, I know how it ends, but I didn't understand motives and stuff like that. I was just trying to not crap myself while playing with you. Yeah. So just seeing all that actually take place in front of me and re-absorbing the story and just getting into that, it's been a blast so far. I haven't beaten it yet, but I am playing on the hard difficulty. I'm not doing the hardest.
So that's Necromancer actually scary now.
So we haven't done a lot of politics on this show, but we're going to do one quick political thing. We've kind of touched on it, but so Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative in Congress, Republican representative, has been on social media and been talking about the fact that we need to now she's pushing a national divorce. Now, for those of you that don't know what that is, what it is that we make two countries, one country for leftists, one country for the people on the right. I think this is a fucking stupid idea. I think Dave agrees with me. It's an absolutely idiotic idea. Hack.
I'm sure we talked about it before.
I think we did, and I think I stated my thing. Hack, what's your idea on a national divorce?
So, number one, just before we even start, I'm not huge on politics. I think it's just I scratch your back, you scratch my back for the most part. I don't really choose sides. But I do have to say this idea of divorcing the country and splitting us when we're supposed to be the United States of America is absolutely wild. I compare it to something that was brought up to a member of Congress. I think a member of the Senate thought that Guam was going to capsize because they had so many people.
Hank Johnson, who I'm pretty sure is still in Congress.
He is still in Congress, and he's still trying to sound like a smart person. He's not.
I mean, I compare it to that as far as public statements that are just absolutely wild. Everything this country has been built on is because of our differences. And that includes difference of opinion. And I think if we split, I just think that just shows the entire world how weak we are. I don't care what side of the aisle you fall on, what you believe in. We're all under one great nation, under God. So it is that's just blows my mind to even propose a splitting based off of what you believe in.
And my whole thing with it, and I've said it before on the show, has nothing to do with whether or not it'll work, whether or not this thing will that. The leftists are going to eat themselves. The sane ones are going to try and go to the right country that's functional, and then they're just going to come and bring their votes anyway. It's going to be like Texas. It's going to be like Florida. It's going to be they leave their shitty places like New York and California. They go down to other places and they start voting. And people on the right are too stupid to say no because, we believe in freedom and shit like that. And they're just going to sit there and be like, oh, look, they can come in as long as you don't. And then it's a vicious cycle. But I do want to have some fun here. I want to see, I have Hank Johnson talking about Guam capsizing if we want to take a second to listen to that. So let's take a second because this is what we have.
We can pull this up.
This is what we have in Congress here. Oh no, it's muted. Alex, unmute it.
Oh boy,
don't be.
This is a rough go. This is a rough first try.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Rough first try.
Here we go. Boom.
Right now, this is capsizing.
We are capsizing.
Yeah, we are currently
I feel like
capsizing.
The podcast is gonna.
Its
capsize.
widest level is 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level or smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long. So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that. The Guam population, I think, currently about 175,000, and again, with 8,000 Marines and their families, it's an addition of about 25,000 more into the population.
The whole island will become so overly.
All right, we don't need to hear that anymore. So obviously, that's Democrat representative from Georgia, Hank Johnson, does not know how islands work.
If that didn't come out a long time ago, if that didn't come out a long time ago, I could be persuaded that that was deep fake audio.
11 years ago. It's 11 years ago that this video was made. I don't know how long ago, but that guy, and 11 years ago, this individual continues to get voted in. He doesn't know how islands work. He doesn't know that New York City is an island, obviously.
It doesn't matter what side he's on. I just think it's hilarious that he took the most amount of time possible to say the most stupid thing in front of a public, in front of
he was talking to like an army general, I think it was. It was like a decorated military man.
Okay. Yeah, that is. I just think that whole situation is hilarious. And
because we're not on video, you just see the military general after he says that is just smirking. And it's like, we don't anticipate that.
Not even that. While he was explaining, he was like, yeah, I think we could all agree that Guam is a small island. Like, he just took all the time. It's kind of like when you don't prep for an essay and you use a lot of likes, ums, and as.
I mean, that's like the Happy Gilmore thing. It's like we are all dumber just from hearing that. Like, oh man. But yeah, so we said our piece. I have no idea how long this podcast is. I think it's long, but I'm okay with it because I like it. But Hack,
it's always a long one when I'm here.
It is. Thanks for coming on as always.
Thanks for having me, man. I love to give some insight as a TikTok influencer. But most
Chinese spy, you might as well be Fang Fang.
Yeah, it's actually wild, the stuff they send me. I actually, once you're an influencer, they have these things called missions, right? And
excuse me?
Yeah, swear to God. And different advertising companies will send you missions, and it'll lay out a bunch of things you have to do, and you get this much money if you. So
you have like VC, like you can get VC from this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The numbers, Joseph. What do they mean?
And what it does is, depending on how many views you get, if you meet all the criteria, they'll give you money, and it's like upwards to $350,000 for a TikTok video.
So, how much do you get for swearing fealty to G?
Oh, I get full acceptance. I actually got my passport from President Xi.
You and you're the new Red Guard. That's how they're getting you.
Oh, absolutely. You think COVID was wild? Wait till what we got cooking up next, dude.
TikTok. All right. On that note, we're dropping conspiracies here. Hack's now about to get abducted by Chinese authorities. If you don't hear from him, he is not suicidal, regardless of what his music sounds like. But anyway, please.
Or if we get Tannehill, that's a possibility.
If we get Tannehill, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, you may never hear Hack again. But anyway, he is HACKnoCAP. Go find him anywhere you can find music. Just go search HACKNOCAP, HACKnoCAP. You'll find great music there. Go support, especially his most recent songs. The End, and then what was your other one? Thinking, I think was that the name of it?
Trying. Started with the T. You were there.
Started with the T. I was in the ballpark. Trying. So Trying, The End. Go support them. They're going toward the Wounded Warrior Project. So go give it a listen. And again, we'll be back next week. as always, maybe on time this time. Joe won't make us late. So everyone, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.